And and relax any tension in your shoulders or any weight that you're carrying, any pocket of tension in your body. And then we'll go up behind your head, the crown of your head, and we go through your face, your forefront, eyebrows, eyes, cheekbones, nose, jaw. And then we're going inside, inward from your throat, bring attention to your chest and to your belly. And notice how your torso changes with the breathing. Breathe slowly in and out. When you are ready, open your eyes and maybe pay attention to the screen and to these lovely faces that you can see. And now we'll have a talk a little bit, and I'll try to have some contribution from you guys. I'd love to hear from you. So bear with me, I'm opening my PowerPoint. Okay, I hope be able to, okay, let's see if it works. Can you see the screen?
Perfect. We can see.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so here we are to see why is empathy important in ocean literacy. So let's stop for a minute and let's contemplate the ocean and let the beauty sink into your hearts. Feel the aliveness at the ocean in your skin, in your bones, in your cells. The ocean is alive. Earth is alive. You might have heard about Gaia theory, coined by James Lovelock in the 1960s. So according to Gaia theory, Earth acts like a living organism, self-regulating itself. And the same goes for the ocean. Biologist Edward Osbert Wilson said that Earth works to create and maintain the conditions that support life. So actually Earth and the ocean, they don't need us. We need them. We need the natural world. We need the biodiversity. We need healthy oceans. And to the sensing body, all phenomena are animated. Everything speaks. And we won't develop environmental ethics through our logical mind. We will develop environmental ethics through our sensorial empathy with the living world that sustains us. Because when we have sensorial empathy, we can develop a deep experience with the world. And then it allows us to have deep questioning. What are we doing to this earth? And then we engage with a deep commitment. And more people are returning to nature because it's just natural. And deep down in our biology, we love life. We love living things. We're just too busy and too disconnected from nature to feel it. And it has a name, the love for life. It's called biophilia. Bio for life, philia for love. And there's also bioempathy. So the empathy is the ability to put our shoes in someone else, to be able to understand and share their feelings. So bioempathy is the ability to put oneself in nature as part of nature. And from there, we can learn from nature. We can learn from her deep and vast intelligence, from 3.8 billion years of life. And it's called biomimicry. And then we start to respect and to work in harmony with nature. And we reconnect with our indigenous self, who is part of the web of life. And only if we see the natural world as alive, if we see kinship in our relationship with other living beings, only if we do that can we survive as a species. Because we are interconnected, we are interrelated, we are interdependent, we are entangled with the world. Nigerian Bayo Akomolofe, I like this quote from him. He says, "The ocean is majestic because it exceeds us, because it silences us, because we came from it, because our bodies are composed of it." So what he means, he wants us to meet nature anew, to see the ocean as an elder, an agency in its own right, and to learn to listen to its manifold wisdoms. So this is a big shift of paradigm. It's a big shift from anthropocentrism, where the human considers themselves as at the top of the hierarchy of the living beings. And it's a big shift to ecocentrism. In ecocentrism, we are part of everyone. We're not superior or inferior to any other living beings. And it's not an easy shift, because anthropocentrism is rooted in a long story of separation, a long story of domination, a long story of colonization of the land, colonization of the living beings, and colonization of our human and brothers and sisters. So what do we mean by engaging in the world in different ways? So I keep hearing this from different voices. I keep hearing slow down. Black feminist Adrienne Marie Brown says, slow down and embrace awe. And Akomolofe also says, times are urgent, let's slow down. So it can seem very weird that in this time of crisis, we are invited to slow down. How come? So the invitation here is to listen. Listen to nature, listen to the ocean, listen to the signals, to liberate ourselves from the illusion of control. Climate change might be a strong signal that we are not in control. The invitation here is to awaken our wisdom, to awaken our intuition, to awaken our sense of belonging to the planet. The invitation here is to ground ourselves in something bigger. Oh, sorry, I touched it. To ground ourselves in something bigger, something that is supportive and nourishing. Earth is sustaining us. The ocean is nourishing us. So to ground ourselves in something much bigger than our species, and even much bigger than our time. The invitation here is to unlearn of the dominant way and to relearn from the elders and from the people who are connected with earth and with the ocean, from indigenous people. The invitation here is to open ourselves to the emergence of a new way of being in the world, to let the new emerge, to let the new surprise us. You might have heard of the concept of emergence in biology. It's so interesting. It's so inspiring. Nature is full of learning if we just listen to it. So emergence refers to the collective properties that are critical for life to thrive. And we can't understand those collective properties just by looking at the individual parts alone. Emergence is a result of being all together in the whole world. And how do we allow the emergence of these properties that we need for life to thrive on Earth? So Adrienne Marie Brown, Black feminist, says there are 3 strategies: deep and radical collaboration. If we look at nature, we find birds traveling in flocks. We find ants building together. We find fungi that, in symbiosis with tree roots, develop the web underground that makes the soil healthy. The other strategy is to embrace change, because change is happening anyways. We better be humbled and embrace it instead of fighting change until we disappear. The last one is to tap into our love for the planet, the love for human beings and living creatures, to awake and feel the world around us, to imagine a future in which this planet is still a home for us and for all other living beings. The invitation here is to come down to our body and to where our physical heart is. We are often caught in the idea of being alive and much less in the experiencing and sensing aliveness. I will stop here for a moment, and I invite you to be in your audio senses. And Chris had a marvelous idea, so I invite you to listen to the whale voices. And when you do that, please pay attention to what's happening in your body. I hope you enjoyed it. So I want to hear from you. I'm going to put the question in the chat. So please share one feeling I had or sensation I noticed in my body while listening to the whales. And let's open the chat and see what's in there. Trying to deficit a new language. An urge to swim. To swim with the whales. Daydreaming. Okay. Felt connected and natural. Sensation buzzing in front of my heart, as well as an activation in my third eye. Wow. I felt also something in my heart, in my torso. I felt the same thing. Oh, could listen all day. Yeah, could listen all day. I agree. I could listen at least for longer. Relief. It was soulful and felt like nature calling. And Ruth says, at a point where the sound was on a high pitch, I felt goosebumps all over my body. I felt really connected to how they feel, I must say. Confusion and many questions about what these sounds mean. It is sadness or happiness? What do the signals sent by whales mean? Oh, so Fasih tried to connect with them and talk with them. So lovely. So what did they say? What did they say to you? Not yet. Okay. Let's see what else we have. A move within me, a sense of belonging. Could feel how the whales were enjoying the waves. Love it. Thank you. Thank you all for, I don't know, happiness or sadness. Thank you for your input. I want to come back to the whales, but let's move on. So I'm going to share again. Please bear with me 1 second so I can find my PowerPoint again. Can you see well? Okay. So let me. Okay, we did this one. We did this one. And we did this one. I'm going too fast. Okay, so now how do we reconnect with our sense of being alive and with the aliveness of the world? So I want to share with you two frameworks that I like to work with. This is the first one. This one is called The Work That Reconnects. It has been designed by environmental activist and author Joanna Macy. And if you look on your left side, there's this beautiful drawing of a dandelion. And the dandelion has the shape of a spiral. It's because the journey is like a spiral. It's not a linear journey, and it's not also a one-way path. It's meant to be repeated as much as needed, and maybe indefinitely. So the spiral has 4 stages. We start at the root of the dandelion, and we come from gratitude, because gratitude quietens our offending mind. It stimulates our empathy and unlocks the mental space for the next step. Then we go through the hardest stage. It's not easy. It's honoring our pain for the state of the world. And all pain has a purpose. It's a warning signal. If you think of when you place your hand on a hot stove, it's the flame that saves you from burning your hand. And Joanna Macy said, the greatest danger of all is the deadening of hearts and minds. The greatest danger is to numb out, is to deny. This is how we lose power. This is how we disconnect from ourselves and from the world. And this is why we are blocked from taking action. And then, when we have honored our pain, we can expand our perspectives and see with new and ancient eyes. We rediscover old wisdom and we create new wisdom. And with the new eyes, we move to a systemic view of life. We take the perspective of non-human world. We connect with past generations and with future generations. We think for each action we do about what's the impact. And indigenous people think what's impact in 7 generations ahead, which is roughly 200 years. We widen our perspective in time and space. And in the work that reconnects, we like to say that our true age is 4.5 billion years. It's the age of the planet. And then the last stage of the spiral is to go forth. We can play our part, and we all have a role to play. Of course, it depends in our situation, our talents, our limitations, and we don't have to put all the responsibility on a couple of shoulders. We're not alone. We're all together on this, and we can only do this together. And we might think sometimes that our small actions are puny into the context of massive challenges we're facing, but we don't know. We don't know the ripples of our actions on others and on the world. I will stop again. I will invite you for another activity. So I want to talk about gratitude before I introduce the activity. Gratitude is a vital element. It's like food. It's like phytoplankton. Phytoplankton is the first step of life. No phytoplankton, no marine life. And so gratitude it grounds us in the here, in the present, here and now. And you're thinking all the time about the past or the mistakes we made personally or collectively, or thinking of the impact in the future. It's very exhausting. So coming to the present moment, here and now 4:46 p.m. my time, whatever time is yours. This is the here and now. Gratitude helps us to focus here. And also gratitude is like an anchor. So we are not drifted by any news or anything we learn that can always, we're always like in the air. And gratitude also helps shift from a mentality of scarcity, which is I'm not enough, I don't have enough, there is never enough. And this is enforced by the dominant paradigm. And we can even see gratitude as a revolutionary act of sufficiency. And so it shifts us to a mentality of abundance. Whatever I have right now, here and now, is enough. I can play a role. I don't need to take thousands of trainings. I don't need to learn everything. I don't need to master everything about the ocean before I do something about it. So I'd like to invite you to share one thing that you feel grateful for now. And I'm gonna put it in the chat and I wanna hear from you. A healthy body, alhamdulillah. Thank you. A healthy body. Oh, that was the same. Having a residence right next to the ocean. Yes. A free breath of life. Yes, absolutely. Well-being. For the gifts of the oceans. Peace. Grateful for having a great academic mentor, one that understands the human dimension of researchers. To be in this class. Thank you. Being alive and aware. Yes. For good health. Let's see if we have more. Grateful to be alive and to be able to add my voice, help save the ocean and give it a chance to live. Grateful for having sound body and mind. Well, thank you. Thank you for your input and for sharing. I'll go back for my last slide. Let me share again. Okay. So now how do we deal with our emotions related to the climate crisis? First, the enormity of the crisis is just too much for our psyche. So it's just normal to plunge into despair, guilt, burnout, anger. And it's also normal to numb ourselves. So to avoid experiencing these heavy emotions. Once I was in a conference and I heard Joanna Macy say, sit with your emotions. So I was asking myself, how do I do that? I've been always aware that I'm driven by my emotions, and I've been trying all my life to avoid, to feel my emotions and to stop these emotions from harassing me. I never knew I could just sit with them and feel them. And it looks scary. And sometimes suppressing our emotions can appear to be the safest way. And you might have heard about eco-anxiety or climate grief. Our hearts and our bodies are traumatized. We need to grieve the losses we witness every day and to process these heavy feelings. And because it's a collective loss, we might better process grief and distress collectively. I put here a quote from American author Robin Wall Kimmerer. She says, "If grief can be a doorway to love, then let us all weep for the world we are breaking apart so we can love it back to wholeness again." So I want to share with you another framework that I like to work with. It's called Good Grief Network. It's a support group where people come together to build a resilient community. And you'll hear some similarities with the work that we connect, which is normal because it's inspired from it. But this one is more focused on processing feelings. So in Good Grief Network, we co-create a safe space where we can explore being vulnerable without anyone trying to fix our emotional state. And people start to feel seen when they can be vulnerable, and they start to feel seen the way they truly are. And they start to face the reality supported by love and humility. And they themselves witness others exploring being vulnerable. And then they can relate. And they can see that they're not alone and they belong to a community. In Good Grief Network, we explore new ways of being in the world and new ways of seeing the climate crisis. We explore accepting the severity of the predicament. We explore being with the uncertainty. We explore giving up our need to control the outcomes of our actions. And we invite the grief to move through our whole body. We learn to be and feel the whole spectrum of emotions. We learn to help our minds become calmer, steadier, and less reactive. We practice resilience strategies like gratitude or experiencing joy, because when we're present to our emotions, we're present to everything, including joy. Where we numb ourselves, we numb also our ability to feel joy. And then we wake up to the beauty of the world, and we start to feel we belong to the web of life, and we engage in the world with active hope. And we learn to preserve our sanity, especially for activists. It's very easy to burn out. And we learn to respond from a place of patience and compassion and self-compassion. And from there, we can move out from stuckness and find our own way. And we use this openness, this wisdom, this energy, and this resilience to inform our actions and our decisions. And once our nervous system is calm, new responses are available. New stories for the future can be created. And we start to envision life-sustaining paradigms for the future. And now I'll stop again. And I will invite you to share again in the chat. So I will invite you to share and to answer this question. Something that troubles me deeply in the world today is. I'm going to write it in the chat.
Looks like you're muted.
Yeah, I muted myself. Okay, so I'm gonna read again. So Samar said many things, but my trouble comes with attachment to people and things. We have also the islands that are disappearing, and that I haven't seen a plan in place for the humans and creatures affected by this situation. Human ignorance, we know and we don't act accordingly. The lack of empathy, oh yes. The environment degradation. The world is becoming an unbearable place at times. What deeply troubles me in the world today is the current economic crisis, conflicts among countries, and climate change, which is immensely affecting our ecosystem. Oh yes. Lack of servant leadership. Let's see if we have more. Lack of contentment. Absolutely. Violation of democratic values. Yes. The world has made nature unfriendly. Yes. Okay. Thank you for your input and for sharing. Not always easy to be vulnerable in this world. It's not in the culture. So in our time together, I want to invite you to an ocean meditation. And then we'll have 15 minutes of Q&A before we end with a poem. So I invite you to relax again and sit on your chair comfortably. And now, close your eyes. You're going on a trip. Prepare yourself. So when you are settled, eye closed, you go to your imagination. And in your imagination, don't do it physically, just stay in your imagination. You're going to stand up. And you're going to walk towards the door of the room, towards the door of your house. And imagine it's the night. It's dark outside. But you're not afraid because you are in your imagination. It's safe. So imagine you walk outside until you arrive at the ocean. Since we are in the imagination, the ocean is nearby. And you are under a starlit sky, standing by the sea, at the edge of the water. Now touch the water with your toes. And now with your feet. And feel the waves as they end at your feet. Now walk in the calm waters until it reaches your knees. And in your imagination, open your eyes. And you see a plethora of little creatures and plants with a myriad of colors. Notice the shapes, the colors, how they move, how they interact with each other. And curious, you keep walking into the waters and you swim towards the open sea. Notice the temperature of the water. Notice the water on your skin. And now you stop and you find yourself gently floating at the surface. Notice the air on your skin. Is there a breeze? Notice the taste of the water in your mouth. Look at the stars lighting your way. The moon may be shining tonight. And because you are in your imagination, you can breathe in the water as long as you want. So you're going to dive in the ocean with a complete sense of safety and confidence. And it's a journey backwards in time. So once you dive a couple of meters in the water, you took a trip in the time, and you find yourself just before the Industrial Revolution. And you see there's a change around you. There's an abundance of living beings, an enchanting marine biome. See the amazing diversity of life in that great watery realm. And a knowing comes to you that ocean now hosts more species than ever before. And you wonder how sublimely it handles the web of relationship that weave together life forms, water, land, and atmosphere. It is clear to you that Earth reached the pinnacle of her evolution. Now you are more curious, and you plunge deeper into the waters. And now you are back 100 million years ago, to the time of the age of reptiles. The continents are closer, and the Atlantic Ocean is smaller. The temperature of the water is warmer, and the air above you is more humid. The sea level is higher, and you are stunned to see how the marine fauna and flora is different. Whales and dolphins' ancestors are on the land, they are not in the sea yet. And you are surrounded by floating algae. And you're surprised by the encounter of giant marine reptiles. And you are still curious, you want to learn more. So you dive even deeper into the water's velvety embrace. And you enjoy the sensation of sinking into time, like falling asleep into a beautiful dream. Now you reach 500 million years ago, and you see scorpions, sponges, strange starfishes, and a variety of phytoplankton. Now you plunge again deeper and deeper into time. You fall like a twirling autumn leaf for much longer than before. Deep down, deep down, deep down. You're a good swimmer, a time swimmer. And you reach 3,500 million years ago, 3.5 billion years ago. Earth is no longer a blue jewel because there's no oxygen in the atmosphere. The sea is greenish and it's covering nearly all the planet. The abundant continents are gone. You see only a smattering of volcanic islands dotted about in the sea. Now you shrink yourself thousands times smaller. You dive in the bottom of the sea and you encounter a huge colony of single-celled beings, the bacteria. And far away, you hear the squawk of a seagull passing by. And the seagull breaks the spell, and he calls you back to our times. And so quickly, because you're a good swimmer, you can swim very quickly. You swim upwards through the velvety fabric of time. And you swim to the edge of the ocean. And you swim to the present moment. And like a magic, you're not wet, you're not tired. You walk back home, to the present room, to your chair. Take your time to arrive. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. So I invite you we have 15 minutes, I guess, for comments, sharings, questions. You can unmute yourself or share or raise your hand digitally as you wish.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, I want to, like, when this transitioning was ongoing, I kept asking myself, what happened to our oceans? I mean, like when we were digging into time, the beautiful creatures way back million years ago, colorful sea creatures, I felt I saw something like even our present color combination with our dresses and all these color combinations are in the sea with these beautiful creatures, the fishes, starfishes, different kinds of crabs and all that. But what happened? What are we doing to save our ocean? As the temperature changes, getting into the ocean from the start, it was a bit cold, but when I started diving into it, the temperature was really warm at this time of the night. And I kept wondering, what is happening? How can we give the ocean a chance to live? We must really put in an effort to save the oceans because we can't live without it. It's like our world is virtually surrounded. It's virtually surrounded with the ocean, and we can't do away without it. So there's a need for us to lift up our voices, take initiatives and strategies to be able to help save our oceans.
Thank you, Ruth.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Naya. I come from the Cabo Verde Islands, and I think I just wanted to share the peace that I get from the ocean. I think being an island girl made me being in a deep connection with the ocean from a very young age, from different perspectives, different memories. And yeah, slowly through my life and studies, I naturally went to the ocean and studying the ocean and its creatures. So I'm really grateful for today's session, for allowing us to connect with different people from different backgrounds, but all under the same goal or with the same passion, and in such a non-formal way, or at least in with a different perspective on how we can also gather and use technology to go back to nature. So yes, I appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully we can have many more sessions like this, and hopefully we can all meet in person someday and materialize these events. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, I would love to. My pleasure. We have something in the chat. So Pauline says, I couldn't imagine the cry of juveniles to their mother as the ocean conditions worsens. Thank you for sharing this.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. I'm Najat from Morocco.
Yes.
So with this adventure, I felt like an deep relationship with our ocean. We cannot be far of this ocean, so we will preserve it to to expand this nature benefit of ocean. With this experiment, I very feel near and deep relationship with our ocean. So we would respect our ocean, and we would preserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Najat. Deeply appreciated. We had some comments in the chat. So Urias is asking, how well is this message resonating the ears of our stakeholders? Yeah, are they on the same page? I guess they're not. Do you want to share more about your question, Urias?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. As you went about the story, I could imagine what it was, especially for me coming with a background in geology and studying historical geology. And sometimes we tend to want to reconstruct what life was before. And just to take me back for some time, when I was growing up, because I lived in the urban area most of my life. And I mean, we had nice beaches. You could walk along the coastline and see the crabs. I mean, they were almost everywhere. But when we started to have a migration of people into the cities and seeing a lot of things happening around the ocean today, the ocean, the beaches, the nice beaches we had, where you could go and sit for fresh air, it's almost unbearable that you can sit and inhale those fresh air coming from across the Atlantic. And as I mentioned, stakeholders, decision maker, are not thinking the way we are thinking, and this is going to be a difficult task for us as scientists or people who are in love with nature to be able to see, to rejuvenate the nature again. So I mean, we must take this seriously. We know that some of the innovation have brought, in terms of the industrialization, technology have brought a lot of good to us, but it also have an adverse effect. And I think we need to act now if we must make life a better place for us. Because, like, for instance, in my country, all of the terrestrial, all of the inland water empties into the ocean, and then they are some of the very main source of pollution to the ocean. If only stakeholders could develop policy to prevent terrestrial debris into the ocean, could somehow start to prevent and keep the ocean life better off. But I mean, that's some of the major challenges. I mean, municipal sewage, everything. I mean, we've seen the ocean as a complete waste area, which is now the case. The ocean, we should see it as a valuable asset in nature that provides almost everything that we need in our life as human beings. So there where we need to have stakeholders need to hear the message. And we need, because I mean, politicians think differently than we scientists think. We that believe in nature think differently than the ways the politicians think, but we think there need to be this bell ringing in the ear and tell them that when we contaminate the ocean, we are contaminating ourselves, because the nice shrimp, the tasty shrimp and fish and crab that we eat, if we not save their life or if we don't protect biodiversity, I mean, this is serious. I mean, it's a serious problem. So we hope that stakeholder can take action and be on the same page with us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. It's heartbreaking. It's it's hard to see that and to see how stakeholders don't respond. The lack of response. This can put us in a lot of anger and frustration. And to see how the ocean is treated as waste, it can really, it triggers a lot of emotions. I have another something in the chat. Thanks so much for this session. I have strong belief that the next generation can be change reasons why I continue to volunteer as a marine educator. Absolutely. One challenge with some of us at this level is a lack of deep skills when it comes to the ocean. Yes. So I see that, okay, we'll take one last person, Ruth. You raise your hand. We'll take.
Yeah, you know, it's my mind went back to the need for us to get marine protected areas in our various oceans, because like as we were translated into where the exercise you took us through, I realized coming back there were like these kind of species, wonderful species, special species were in extinct. And you see, some communities are over exploiting the fishing resources and all that, and they don't even allow the small pelagic fishes to even nurture, get enough to be nurtured and to grow into bigger fishes to breed. All these smaller ones together with the bigger ones are being consumed and all that. They're not given enough time to get nurtured for them to breed, for their species to increase. So I think there will also be the need for
I'm hearing two people talking. Maybe you can mute your mic.
us, whilst protecting the ocean, there was also marine protected areas in protecting the resources of the ocean is key. Yeah. So I think we should also check the put more efforts in educating on marine protected be now, but in the near future, these species that are in extinct can be, should I say, rebred? Yeah, for them to come back. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. I think we got the idea. It was a little bit on and off. Chris, do you think we have time for one last? We have or
Okay, just take one more so we can.
we had one hand raised. I think it. Let me see. Or is it? Is it down now? So does this person want to say something before we close?
I can express about my opinion.
Yes, please.
Okay, as you said, ocean and earth don't have us, but we need them. So the oceans have no boundaries, and they are also not evenly distributed across the planet. Therefore, we can't put up fences to protect our share of the ocean, but instead we must cooperate with each other in a separate of solidarity if we are to succeed in preserving and protecting what we have. We should spread sustainable, preserve the ocean, seas, and marine resources to achieve sustainable development. Because the impact of climate change on our ocean can no longer be described individually and in isolation from bleached coral reef. It is involved fundamental change to ecosystem as a whole and marine life on scale we could only recently imagine. So we must start working immediately, putting the ocean at the heart of our climate efforts. I think everyone should be ready to take drastic measures and take a step. If anyone in the planet takes one step, we can change our lives and our marine life. Thanks. Was an informative session. I enjoyed so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we are on time. And I had a poem, but Chris, you have a question maybe for you about a certificate of attendance. Let me. I'll give the baton to Chris, and I want to thank you all for coming and for participating in the activities.
Okay, perfect. I really want to appreciate you so much for this beautiful, and it's unfortunate we had about 250 registrants who registered for this event, but of course we had just very few. I know it's lots of programs coming up within ECOP. ECOP had one just a while ago and coming up. So it's really good, and we should understand the role of emotions as a driving factor that shouldn't be underestimated. When the emotion thing was proposed in part of the additional dimensions, and people were like, okay, how does this connect? But of course, we've seen that it has an emotional connection. We can see how we went back to history, and we came back. We saw the things that have changed over the years. And so we ask ourselves, what can we do to this, and how can we work towards having much more initiatives coming up, educating people in our community on the need to protect the oceans. And I didn't have much big time to introduce Ms. Zeinab Benchakroun. I never knew she was from Morocco, and so she's part of us here in Africa. And ECOP Africa really appreciates you so much and appreciates everyone who joined us. Zeinab is a purpose guide. She's a coach and an environmental activist committed to unlocking inner gifts and helping people find the courage to pursue what matters. And of course, she has unlocked several gifts within us. And those of us that are in the environmental field, to mangrove protection, geologists, and several others that are here, of course, this has been unlocked. And of course, you've been armed with the tools, right from the cradle of emotions. So let's go forward and work with it. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank the entire ECOP team who joined us. I want to thank everyone who came from far and wide. I know we didn't have time to introduce ourselves. I just wanted us to pick up to the event so we can have a full dose of it. In as much as the time is fast spent, I would like to drop my email. There will be a certificate for this. Please don't be offended that it wasn't included. Let me add my mail. Sorry. Let me add my mail to this so you can actually reach out to me. So reach out to me so we can make the certificates ready on time if you attended, so that are here. And please, hi there. Hi there. Are you here? Are you still around? Hi, Hadia. Can you take a screenshot? Or anyone, can you take a screenshot if you are available? I'm not using my laptop. Okay, take a screenshot everywhere. Please, if you can on your camera, just do so. Take your camera. You can take your camera on so we can take the screenshot and put a smiling face. Put a smiling face.
The smile.
So if your camera is on, let's do that. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, if you're yet to do that, do so. Okay, we take it now. So, Hadia, you can take the pictures. Oh, you're also using phone. Oh my God. You're also using phone. Can the phone really get it well? Okay. Okay. Let's see something here. All right. Okay. All right. So thank you so much. So do well to email me your contacts, so you can provide the certificate for this. And as for everyone else who is asking whether this series will be coming forward, we in the OLTT we have the empathy, and the team's connection. A sub-working group. So please send it to my email. So we would use this as an opportunity to have 2 more series before the ending of the year, and that would really make sense. So it's part of the things that we would be doing over the time. So to recognize this, and I want to thank everyone once again for joining. And may the oceans be with you all. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Zeinab.
Bye. My
Bye.
pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.